The strange signal. The night was quiet. The desert sky stretched endlessly, full of stars that shined like tiny diamonds. Everything was calm. But deep inside the Earth Space Research Center, a storm was rising. Inside the control room, dozens of scientists stared at the giant screens in silence. Green lines danced across the monitors, showing strange patterns nobody understood. A young technician whispered, almost afraid to break the silence. "Sir, it's happening again." Dr. Helen Morris, head of the research center, walked closer. Her eyes were sharp, focused on the screen. "Show me the data," she said calmly. The technician pressed a few keys, and the strange signal appeared. A series of repeating pulses, long, short, long, again and again. Dr. Helen frowned. This is not random. This is communication." An unknown message far away, in another part of the building, Captain Ray Carter was called in. Ray was not a scientist. He was a former Air Force pilot, a man trained for danger. His strong build and calm face gave people confidence. But when he entered the control room and saw the data, even he felt uneasy. "What am I looking at?" Ray asked. Dr. Helen turned to him. "A signal, from deep space. It started 3 hours ago, and it's not natural. Someone is sending this." Ray raised an eyebrow. "Aliens?" She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "We've ruled out satellites, black ops projects, everything. This is intelligent." Before Ray could reply, an alarm went off. Everyone jumped. The monitors lit up with red warnings. The signal was changing. The coordinates. Suddenly, the random-looking pulses stopped. The screen displayed a set of numbers: latitude, longitude. Ray stared at the screen. "Those are coordinates on Earth." Dr. Helen zoomed in on the map. The location was a remote desert in Nevada. No towns, no roads, nothing. "Whatever is sending this," Helen said slowly, "wants us to go there." The room went silent. Fear spreads. Within hours, the news reached the highest levels of government. Secret meetings were held. Generals argued, politicians panicked. Some said it was a trap. Some said it was a test. Some wanted to send the army. Others wanted to do nothing and hope it went away. But the signal didn't stop. Every few hours, it repeated the same message. Same coordinates. Same strange pattern. The world was watching, but no one wanted to make the first move. One man steps forward late that night. Ray stood alone on the balcony outside the center. The desert wind blew softly. He stared up at the stars, his jaw tight. He had been through wars, had seen death, but this was different. He remembered the words of his late father, a man who believed humans were never truly alone. "One day, Ray, the universe will knock on our door. The question is, will we open it?" Behind him, Dr. Helen approached quietly. "You don't have to do this," she said. Ray didn't turn around. "Someone has to," he replied. Helen hesitated. "We don't know what's out there. We don't know if we'll come back." Ray finally looked at her. His voice was calm, but firm. "If they wanted to hurt us, they wouldn't send an invitation." And with that, he volunteered. The silent desert. 2 nights later, a black shuttle flew quietly over the Nevada desert. No lights, no markings. Inside, Ray checked his gear. A breathing mask, radiation suit, and a small weapon he hoped he wouldn't need. He landed near the coordinates. The place was empty, silent, and endless. For miles there was nothing but sand and rock. No sound of birds, no insects, not even wind. He stepped out of the shuttle and scanned the horizon. Then he saw it. Something moves far away. A blue glow shimmered in the darkness. Ray squinted. The light wasn't natural. It pulsed softly, like it was breathing. He moved closer, his boots crunching softly in the sand. The glow grew brighter. His scanner beeped faster and faster. Suddenly the ground trembled under his feet. He froze. Out of the shadows, a massive silhouette rose. Tall, thin, and alien. Ray's breath caught in his throat. 8 feet tall. Silver blue skin. Glowing eyes like burning stars. The creature stood perfectly still, staring at him. Ray's instincts screamed at him to run, but his legs refused to move. He was frozen between fear and awe. The moment of contact, the alien raised its hand slowly, not in threat, but in greeting. Ray hesitated, heart pounding. He forced himself to breathe and slowly raised his own hand, and then it happened. A flash of white light filled his vision. His ears rang. His mind went blank. A voice, not spoken, but inside his head, echoed softly. "You are ready." Ray staggered back, gasping for air. The light faded, but the alien was still there, silent, watching. For the first time in his life, Ray Carter realized something terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Humans were not alone, and whatever this was, it had only just begun. The forbidden landing. The desert was silent, the kind of silence that made your heart beat louder in your ears. Captain Ray Carter stood alone, staring at the strange blue glow ahead. The sand beneath his boots was cold, and the air felt heavy. Behind him, the black shuttle hummed quietly, its engines cooling. Above, the sky stretched endlessly, full of stars. But tonight, they didn't look beautiful. They looked like eyes watching from the darkness. Ray adjusted his breathing mask and whispered to himself, "All right, Carter. You volunteered. No turning back now." A desert. Out of time. Every step he took toward the light made the world feel wrong. The air grew thicker. The sound of his boots crunching against the sand seemed distant, like he was walking in a dream. Then he noticed something strange. The desert wasn't empty anymore. Shadows. Tall, thin stone pillars stood around him, half buried in sand. They weren't natural. Their surfaces were smooth, carved with symbols glowing faintly blue. Ray touched one carefully. The moment his fingertips brushed the surface, the pillar vibrated softly beneath his hand like it was alive. "What the hell is this place?" he muttered under his breath. He didn't know it yet, but he was standing on something far older than human history. The arrival, suddenly, the ground trembled. The blue glow ahead grew brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. Ray instinctively dropped to one knee, pulling out his scanner. The readings went wild, massive energy spikes like nothing Earth's instruments had ever recorded before. Then, it appeared. A soundless flash of light tore through the night sky. A huge craft emerged out of thin air, as if reality itself had folded open for it. It hovered silently above the desert, its black surface reflecting no light. It wasn't made of metal, at least not any metal humans knew. It looked like liquid shadow shaped into a ship. The craft landed without a sound. No engines, no heat, nothing human. Ray raised his weapon but didn't fire. He couldn't. Something deep inside him whispered, "Don't." The 8-foot shadow. The side of the craft opened. A ramp unfolded, glowing softly. And then it stepped out, the 8-foot alien. Its skin shimmered silver blue under the starlight, its tall frame perfectly balanced and graceful. Its glowing eyes locked onto Ray, unblinking, unreadable. Ray's throat went dry. Instinct screamed run, but he stood frozen. The alien tilted its head slightly, studying him like a curious scientist. Then it raised its long, 3-fingered hand, slowly, deliberately toward Ray. This time, Ray didn't mirror the gesture. He waited. He wanted to see what it would do. The voice without sound. Suddenly, a cold wave washed over his mind. He gasped, clutching his head. A voice echoed inside him. Not through ears, but directly in his thoughts. Deep, powerful, and calm. Do not fear. You are chosen. Ray staggered back, trying to breathe. Who are you? He managed to whisper aloud. The alien's glowing eyes softened, and the voice came again. I am Xylar. I bring warning. Listen, or your people will die. Ray's heart pounded. He tried to focus, but fragments of images flooded his mind. Burning cities, collapsing oceans, dark skies filled with strange ships. What are you showing me? Ray shouted. The alien lowered its hand, and the vision stopped. Not yet. First, trust must be made. The forbidden technology behind Xylar, the strange craft shifted and a hatch opened on its side. Inside, Ray saw something that made his jaw tighten. Floating above a pedestal was a sphere of light, spinning slowly, humming softly. Energy pulsed from it like a living heartbeat. Ray instinctively knew. This wasn't just alien tech. This was power. Power beyond human understanding. Xylar's voice came again. This world is not ready. But you may be. Ray stepped closer, cautious. What is that thing? A key, Xylar replied simply. A key to survive. When they come, Ray frowned. Who's coming? Xylar's glowing eyes darkened. The others. The sky responded suddenly. The desert air changed. Ray's scanner beeped violently. He looked up. Above the stars, a shadow moved. No. Several shadows. Multiple massive shapes broke through the clouds, blocking out the starlight. They weren't Xylar's people. He knew that instantly. The energy signature was different. Xylar turned sharply, his body glowing brighter. The ground trembled again. Ray stepped back. What's happening? Xylar's voice was sharp now, urgent. They followed me. You must leave now. Before Ray could respond, a deafening roar split the sky. One of the dark ships fired a beam of red energy straight toward them. Xylar raised his hand and a blinding shield of light erupted around them, the beam dissolving harmlessly before it touched the ground. Ray's breath caught. This was no simple visitor. Xylar was a warrior. The choice Xylar turned to him, voice thundering in Ray's mind. Your leaders will not believe, your armies cannot fight. But you can choose. Stand with us, or watch your world burn. Ray stared at the alien, heart pounding, sweat dripping down his neck. This wasn't first contact. This was a warning. This was a recruitment. And deep inside, Ray knew. This was only the beginning. First contact. The explosion of light faded, but the silence that followed was louder than any sound. Captain Ray Carter lay flat on the cold sand, chest heaving, ears ringing. He blinked rapidly, trying to focus. The desert was no longer quiet. The air hummed with energy, like a storm about to break. When he finally pushed himself up, his heart skipped a beat. The enemy ships that had circled above were gone, not destroyed, not retreating, just gone, as if they had never been there. Ray turned slowly. Xylar stood nearby, tall and motionless, his silver-blue skin glowing faintly. His eyes, once calm and soft, now burned like molten stars. What? What just happened? Ray's voice cracked in the dry air. Xylar didn't answer immediately. He raised his hand and scanned the horizon, his glowing palm releasing a faint ripple of light. After a moment, his deep voice echoed inside Ray's head again. They are still here. Hidden. Watching us. The alien outpost Xylar motioned for Ray to follow. Without a word, he walked toward the strange stone pillars they had passed earlier, but now, as they approached, the desert floor shifted beneath them. The sand parted like water, revealing a hidden passage descending into darkness. Ray froze at the edge, staring into the abyss. What is this? Sanctuary. Xylar's voice answered simply. A place your kind was never meant to see. Ray hesitated. His instincts screamed trap, but something inside him said otherwise. Taking a deep breath, he stepped in after Xylar. The passage opened into a massive underground chamber. The walls were smooth black stone, carved with glowing symbols older than any human civilization. Strange machines hummed softly, their designs alien and elegant. Ray felt like he was standing inside a living organism. Every surface pulsed faintly, as if the entire place breathed. The memory sphere. At the center of the chamber floated a sphere of light, the same one Ray had seen earlier inside Xylar's craft. Up close, it was breathtaking. Millions of tiny fractals danced inside it, shifting. Into shapes Ray couldn't comprehend, Xylar gestured toward the sphere. Touch it. Ray frowned. Last time I touched something alien, my head nearly exploded. Xylar's voice was calm. This will show you what words cannot. Reluctantly, Ray reached out. The moment his fingertips grazed the surface, his vision exploded. Visions. Of the war Ray was no longer in the chamber. He was somewhere else, somewhere impossibly far away. He stood in a vast black void filled with thousands of glowing stars. Across the darkness, a colossal fleet of alien warships moved like shadows, with teeth. Their sleek, angular designs looked nothing like Xylar's graceful craft. Then he saw Xylar's people, the Illyrians, fighting desperately against them. Planet after planet burned under the assault of a race known only as the Others. Ray's chest tightened. He watched entire worlds reduced to ash in seconds. Massive alien titans, machines the size of mountains, tore through fleets effortlessly. Then he heard Xylar's voice, distant and deep, inside the vision. They consume. They conquer. They erase. We are losing. Ray's vision shifted. He saw Earth, his home, floating quietly in the void. Then the dark fleet turned toward it. Ray ripped his hand back from the sphere, gasping, his heart hammering like a drum. Sweat ran down his neck despite the cold chamber air. The human problem Xylar watched him carefully. They're coming here, Ray whispered, struggling to breathe. Xylar nodded slowly. Yes, but your people will not listen. They are stubborn. Ray paced across the chamber, adrenaline surging through his veins. Then make them listen. Show them this. Show them what I saw. Xylar's glowing eyes dimmed slightly. They will see only fear. They will divide, fight, and destroy themselves before the others arrive. Ray stopped cold. Wait. Are you saying humanity isn't ready? Xylar turned toward the glowing symbols on the walls. No. I am saying humanity was never meant to survive what is coming, unless you change. A hidden secret Ray narrowed his eyes. What aren't you telling me? Xylar hesitated, then faced him directly. This is not the first time Earth has been chosen. Ray's stomach dropped. What do you mean? Xylar stepped closer, towering over him. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, my kind came here. We altered your species. We shaped you. You are not what you think you are. Ray staggered back, shaking his head. No, that's impossible. It is truth, Xylar said, his voice calm but firm. You were made to be warriors, to be ready for this day. But you forgot. Ray's breath quickened. His entire life, human history itself, suddenly felt like a lie. The enemy arrives before. He could process anything. The ground shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Alarms, alien alarms, rang throughout the chamber. Xylar turned sharply toward the passage. His voice thundered in Ray's mind. They found us. The ceiling, above them, cracked open as a beam of red light cut through the stone. One of the other ships descended above the desert, weapons glowing like burning suns. Xylar shoved Ray behind a pillar and raised his hand. Energy surged from his body, forming a protective shield around them as debris rained down. Go, Ray Carter, Xylar roared in his mind. Go now, or your people are lost. Ray grabbed his gear, heart pounding. He looked at Xylar one last time. What about you? Xylar's burning eyes didn't waver. I will hold them. But this is only the beginning. The hidden warning. The shuttle tore through the night sky like a silent shadow. Inside, Captain Ray Carter sat strapped to the pilot's seat, his hands shaking as he gripped the controls. Sweat dripped down his neck, his chest rising and falling in sharp, shallow breaths. The desert below glimmered faintly in the moonlight, but Ray wasn't looking at it. His eyes were fixed on the radar. Red blips. Dozens of them. They weren't satellites. They weren't aircraft. They were alien ships, and they were already in Earth's orbit. A world in denial by dawn, Ray landed at a secret military base outside Nevada. Armed soldiers surrounded the shuttle instantly, rifles raised, demanding identification. Minutes later, Ray found himself inside a high-security briefing room, facing a panel of generals and scientists. Screens behind them showed live satellite images of the sky above Earth. "Are you telling us," one general said slowly, "that an alien fleet is out there?" Ray slammed his fist on the table. "I'm not telling you, General. I saw them. I spoke to one of them. They're not coming. For peace." A middle-aged scientist shook her head in disbelief. "This is absurd. If these others exist, why haven't we seen them?" Ray leaned forward, his voice low and sharp. "Because they don't want you to. They're hiding. Watching. Waiting." The room went silent. Only the low hum of the air conditioning filled the space. The mistrust. Then the door opened and Dr. Helen Morris walked in. Her eyes locked on Ray, filled with both relief and fear. "Ray," she said softly. "What happened out there?" Ray hesitated, glancing at the generals. "They won't believe me," he muttered. "Try me," Helen replied. So he told them everything. About the hidden outpost, the memory sphere, the war in the stars, and Zyler's warning. When he finished, the generals exchanged skeptical looks. One of them scoffed. "So, let me get this straight. Some 8-foot alien walks out of a spaceship, shows you a light ball, and tells you humanity is doomed? That's your story?" Ray's jaw clenched. "Yes, and if you don't prepare, we'll all be dead before you believe me." But they didn't. They couldn't. A message from the stars that night as Ray sat alone in the barracks. A soft hum filled the air. He looked up. His communicator blinked, receiving a signal from nowhere. He tapped it. Static. Then a deep, familiar voice echoed in his head. "Ray Carter. Time is short." It was Zylar. Ray bolted upright. "Zylar, where are you?" "Hidden. For now. But they know you. They have seen you." Ray frowned. "Who? The others?" "Yes. You touched the sphere. Now they know your mind. You are a beacon to them." Ray's stomach dropped. "You're saying they're coming for me?" "Not just you," Zylar replied. "Everyone you know, everyone you love, the moment they find you, Earth will burn. The betrayal." Before Ray could respond, soldiers burst into his room. Two grabbed him by the arms, forcing him against the wall. "Captain Carter, by order of the U.S. Defense Council, you're under detention for unauthorized contact with a hostile entity." Ray struggled. "Hostile? Zyler's not the enemy. You're wasting time." But they didn't listen. He was dragged into an isolation chamber sealed off from the rest of the base. There were no windows, no clocks, only silence. Hours passed, maybe more. Then the lights flickered. The silent invasion. Suddenly, the power died, alarms blared. Distant explosions rocked the base. Muffled shouts and gunfire echoed outside. Ray pounded on the door. "Open up. What's happening out there?" Through the chaos, a faint voice came through the intercom. "Unknown crafts breaching perimeter. Airspace, we're under attack." Ray's blood ran cold. This wasn't Zylar. This was the others. The rescue, just as panic set in. The lights inside Ray's chamber bent and twisted, literally warping around him. A familiar tall figure materialized. Out of the distortion, Zyler. He grabbed Ray's arm with surprising strength. "No time, come." Ray didn't argue. In an instant, the walls around them melted into darkness, and Ray felt his body pulled through a tunnel of light. He stumbled, dizzy, and found himself standing on a high cliff overlooking the entire desert. Below, the military base burned. Alien ships hovered above, firing beams of energy into the ground. Soldiers fought bravely but were hopelessly outmatched. Ray swallowed hard. They're here. Xylar nodded slowly. This is only their scout fleet. The main force will come soon. The weapon Xylar turned to him, his glowing eyes more intense than ever. Do you understand now? Your leaders will never unite. Your armies cannot stop them. But there is a way. Ray frowned. What way? Xylar extended his hand, revealing a small metallic device, smooth, black, humming faintly with alien energy. This is a resonator core. It can awaken the part of you that was hidden long ago. Ray hesitated, remembering Xylar's earlier words. You said humans were changed, built, for war. Xylar nodded. Inside you is power your species has forgotten. With this, you can unlock it. But once done, there is no return. You will no longer be fully human. Ray's breathing slowed. His entire life was about to change. The choice below them, the base erupted in another explosion. Soldiers screamed. Alien weapons burned the sky. Ray clenched his fists, heart pounding. I didn't ask for this, he whispered. No one ever does, Xylar replied. But you are chosen, not by me, by what you are. Ray stared at the resonator core. Humanity's survival might depend on him, but becoming something more than human terrified him. Finally, he reached out and grabbed it. All right, he said through gritted teeth. Let's fight. Xylar's burning eyes flared brighter than ever. Then prepare, Ray Carter, for war. The awakening. The desert wind howled softly, carrying the faint smell of smoke from the burning base below. Captain Ray Carter stood on the rocky cliff, holding the strange alien device, the resonator core in his hand. It pulsed faintly, like a living heart. Xylar, the towering 8-foot alien, stood beside him. The silver-blue light of his skin glimmered in the moonlight, his burning eyes fixed on the horizon where enemy ships still hovered like vultures. Ray's jaw was tight, his knuckles white around the device. Tell me this again, Ray said, his voice low and sharp. This thing can change me? Xylar nodded slowly. Not change. Awaken. The code is already inside you. It has always been. Ray glanced at him, frustration cutting through his fear. You keep saying humans were built for war. You mean we're weapons? Xylar's deep voice echoed inside his head. Not all, but some. Yes. Long ago, my kind shaped your ancestors to be stronger, faster, more adaptable. We left fragments of our essence inside your DNA, a hidden weapon waiting to be unlocked. Ray stared at the core. His heartbeat was thunder in his ears. And if I refuse? Xylar's gaze shifted toward the burning base below. Alien drones sliced through, human defenses like paper. Soldiers screamed in the distance. Then Earth dies screaming. The first surge ray swallowed hard, his throat dry. Without another word, he pressed the resonator core against his chest. The effect was instant. A shockwave of blinding blue energy erupted from the device, slamming Ray to his knees. Pain ripped through his body like wildfire. Every cell, every nerve, every drop of blood burned. He screamed, clutching the dirt, his vision fracturing into shards of light. His heartbeat roared louder than any explosion. Xylar stood motionless, his glowing eyes fixed on Ray. Do not fight it, Xylar's voice echoed in his mind. Accept it. Ray gasped, struggling to breathe as waves of alien energy surged through him. His skin glimmered faintly under the moonlight. For a brief moment he saw everything, a vision beyond human limits, the other's fleet hiding in the shadow of the moon, a massive superweapon deep beneath Antarctica, thousands of alien scouts already walking among humans disguised. Then, the vision shattered. Ray collapsed forward, panting heavily, his palms digging into the dirt. When he looked up, his eyes glowed faintly blue. The call of the mind. Ray Carter, Xylar said softly. You are awake. Ray blinked, dazed. I can hear you. Clearer now. Not just me, Xylar replied. Listen. Ray frowned, focusing, and froze. In the back of his mind, whispers flooded his thoughts. Voices. Thousands of them. Human voices. Alien voices. He could feel everything. Soldiers dying, scientists panicking, ships burning in orbit. The resonator hadn't just awakened his strength. It had linked him to something bigger. Ray stumbled back, clutching his head. What the hell have you done to me? Xylar stepped closer, towering over him. I did nothing. This is who you are, who you were meant to be. The others strike. Before Ray could respond, the sky tore open. A massive shockwave shook the ground as 3 enemy warships descended through the clouds, their angular black hulls shimmering like living shadows. Ray shielded his eyes as energy beams cut through the desert. The base below was reduced to ash in seconds. Xylar! Ray shouted over the roaring wind. We can't stay here. Xylar's glowing hand extended, and a sphere of blue energy enveloped them, just as a red plasma bolt struck the cliffside. The explosion was deafening, but inside the shield there was only silence. Ray looked up at Xylar, breathing hard. They're unstoppable. Xylar's burning eyes never blinked. No, they can bleed. You will learn. The hidden army Xylar led Ray deep into the mountains, where a massive cave opened into an underground facility. Ray froze the moment he stepped inside. Hundreds of stasis pods lined the walls, glowing faintly. Inside each pod floated humans, or something close. Their faces looked human, but their skin bore faint blue markings similar to Xylar's. Ray's voice was a whisper. What are they? The Forgotten, Xylar said. Early prototypes, humans built for war, abandoned when the others first came. They sleep, waiting for one who can lead them. Ray turned slowly toward Xylar. Me. Xylar nodded once. You were chosen long before you were born. The unseen enemy. Suddenly, Ray's head throbbed violently. The voices in his mind screamed in unison. Found you, found you. Ray clutched his temples, collapsing to his knees. Xylar's eyes widened. They've locked onto your signal, we must move. A loud screech filled the cave, high-pitched and unnatural. Cracks formed in the ceiling as alien drones crawled through, their black insect-like bodies glinting under the lights. Ray's instincts took over. He grabbed a nearby weapon from Xylar's belt, a slender alien rifle glowing faintly blue. 3 drones lunged forward. Ray fired. The rifle roared with a pulse of pure energy, tearing one drone apart instantly. Another exploded mid-air. Ray's glowing eyes narrowed. His movements were faster, sharper, inhuman. Xylar watched him, a hint of pride flashing in his molten gaze. Awakening complete, Xylar whispered. The dark secret. When the last drone fell, Ray lowered the weapon, chest heaving. Xylar, he said, his voice shaking. You said the others are coming to invade, but why? Why Earth? Xylar hesitated, silent for a moment. Finally, his deep voice echoed softly. Because Earth is not what you think it is. Ray frowned. What do you mean? Xylar's gaze turned upward, toward the cave ceiling, as if he could see through, stone and sky to the stars beyond. Beneath your oceans, beneath your deserts, beneath your cities, lies something ancient, something older than my kind, something even the others fear. Ray's stomach turned cold. What's down there? Xylar met his eyes. The reason you were created. The battle for Earth begins. The night sky was no longer silent. High above Earth, thousands of alien warships, the others' main fleet, descended from the shadows of the moon. Their black angular hulls swallowed starlight as if they were made of darkness itself. Inside a hidden underground base beneath the Nevada mountains, Captain Ray Carter stood at the center of a holographic war table. Glowing images of Earth spun, slowly before him, covered with hundreds of red markers. Enemy positions. Ray clenched his fists. He could feel them now. The others. Their hunger. their cruelty, their intention. Ever since the resonator core awakened the alien code inside him, his senses were no longer human. He could feel the battlefield before the first shot was even fired. Behind him, Xylar watched silently, his tall frame casting a long shadow across the chamber. "They've begun," Ray whispered. Xylar's molten eyes burned brighter. "This is only the vanguard. The harvester has not yet moved." Ray turned sharply. "You keep saying that word. What the hell is the harvester?" Xylar's expression darkened. "The reason they came. The first strike." The ground trembled violently as distant explosions shook the base. The hologram flickered, showing live feeds from orbit. New York City lit up in fire as alien plasma bolts tore through skyscrapers. Over the Pacific, US and Chinese fleets were shredded by swarms of drone ships. Satellites were falling out of the sky like burning meteors. Ray gritted his teeth, fury burning inside him. "They're not invading. They're erasing us." Xylar placed a massive hand on Ray's shoulder. "Exactly. And if the harvester lands, there will be nothing left to save." The awakening of the forgotten Xylar led Ray deeper into the underground facility, into a colossal chamber filled with thousands of stasis pods. Inside each pod floated a motionless figure, the forgotten army. "They're hybrids," Ray whispered, staring at them, half human, half Illyrian. Xylar nodded. "Created long ago, designed to fight the others. But your kind turned away from the war, and they were left to sleep. Until now." Xylar placed his glowing palm on a control panel. Instantly, the chamber came alive. Pods hissed open one by one, releasing mist into the air. Ray stepped back as the first of the hybrids awoke. Their glowing blue eyes snapped open, and they stepped out silently, their bodies lean, tall, and powerful. Each. One looked at Ray, then one by one they knelt. Ray's throat went dry. "Why are they bowing to me?" Xylar's voice rumbled softly. "Because you carry the key. In their minds you are already their commander." The infiltrators. Before Ray could respond, a sharp pain shot through his head. He staggered, clutching his temples. Visions flooded his mind. Images of human soldiers screaming, their skin shifting, their faces melting into something inhuman. Ray gasped. "They're here, inside the base." Alarms blared. Gunfire erupted in the distance. Screams echoed through the steel halls. Xylar drew a blade of pure energy from his wrist. "The others sent infiltrators. They've been hiding among you for years." Ray grabbed the alien rifle from his back. "Then let's clear them out." The first kill, they moved fast through the narrow halls. Bodies of fallen soldiers lined the floor, their faces frozen in terror. Then, from the shadows, a human officer stepped forward, smiling strangely. "Captain Carter," the man said softly, "you're making a mistake. The others don't want war. Surrender and they'll spare us." Ray frowned, lowering his rifle slightly. "Who are you?" The man's grin widened unnaturally. His skin rippled like liquid. His eyes turned solid black. "A shapeshifter." Before Ray could react, Xylar moved like lightning, driving his blade straight through the infiltrator's chest. The creature shrieked, its form dissolving into black smoke before collapsing into nothingness. Ray stared, wide-eyed. "Please tell me there aren't more of those." Xylar's voice was grim. "There are thousands. The harvester." Suddenly, the holographic display above the war table flared to life. A massive moving signal appeared in Earth's upper atmosphere. Ray froze. "What is that?" Xylar's burning gaze locked onto the hologram. The harvester. The image zoomed in, revealing a monstrous alien construct descending slowly toward Earth. It was larger than any human city, its black surface covered in shifting patterns of red light. "What does it do?" Ray asked, his voice low. Xylar's answer made his blood run cold. "It drains life. Entire worlds are stripped down to nothing. Oceans vanish, skies burn. When the harvester finishes, there will be no Earth." The power unleashed, Ray felt something ignite inside him, a surge of energy pulsing through his veins. The voices in his head screamed louder, thousands of thoughts blending together. He turned to Xylar, his glowing blue eyes fierce. Then stop it. Xylar nodded. You cannot stop it yet, but you can hurt it. That will be enough. Ray raised his weapon, his hybrid army behind him, ready for battle. Then, without warning, the cave walls shook violently. The ceiling above cracked, open, and a swarm of alien drones poured in like a river of shadows. The betrayal ray fired, tearing through drones with bursts of blue energy. The hybrids fought like predators, their movements fast and precise, cutting down enemies effortlessly. But then something happened that Ray didn't expect. The hybrids stopped. Their glowing blue eyes flickered, then turned red. Ray froze, staring at them in disbelief. No. 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 Xylar cursed in a language Ray didn't understand. The others have found the control codes. They've overridden their minds. One by one, the hybrids turned their weapons toward Ray. Humanity's first strike. The underground chamber shook like an earthquake. Dust fell from the ceiling. Alien drones screeched in the distance, and the faint, bone-deep hum of the harvester filled the air. Captain Ray Carter stood at the center of chaos, breathing hard, his glowing blue eyes locked on the impossible sight before him. The forgotten army, the thousands of hybrid warriors Xylar had awakened, had turned against him. Their once bright blue eyes now glowed red, their minds overridden by the others' control codes. Ray's hands tightened around the alien rifle. This isn't happening, he whispered under his breath. But Xylar's deep voice rumbled like distant thunder. It is. The others always plan 3 moves ahead. Trapped between enemies, hundreds of hybrids moved forward in eerie silence. Their weapons raised, forming a perfect circle around Ray and Xylar. Can you break their control? Ray demanded. Xylar shook his head slowly. Not here, not now. Their minds are locked to the others' command network. To free them, we must destroy the source node. Ray frowned. What the hell is the source node? Xylar's molten gaze fixed on the ceiling. The harvester. It commands them directly. Ray's stomach tightened. So we take it down? Xylar's voice was calm but sharp. Ray Carter, taking down the harvester is not a battle. It is suicide. Ray glanced at the hybrid stepping closer, then back at Xylar. Better suicide than extinction. The unleashing, the first wave of hybrids lunged forward. Ray moved like lightning, firing bursts of pure energy from his rifle. His awakened instincts guided his every shot, precise, lethal, effortless. 3 hybrids fell, then 6, then 10, but for every one he dropped, 10 more advanced. Xylar, Ray shouted over the deafening fire. We're not going to last 5 minutes down here. Xylar slammed his palm to the ground, unleashing a shockwave of blue energy that sent dozens of hybrids flying backward. Move! Xylar's voice thundered in Ray's mind. Together they fought their way through collapsing tunnels until they burst into the open desert night. The shadow of the harvester ray froze. Above them, blotting out the stars, hung the harvester. It was a monstrous living construct, bigger than any human city. Its black shifting surface pulsed with red veins of energy, and its massive underbelly glowed faintly, drawing power from the planet below. Ray could feel it inside his mind, cold, ancient, and hungry. Xylar placed a heavy hand on his shoulder. Now you see why we fear them. Ray's voice was quiet but unshaken. Fear's not going to save us. The last command behind them, the hybrids poured out of the tunnels, their glowing red eyes locked on Ray. Xylar turned sharply, pressing a small alien disc into Ray's hand. Take this. It will connect your awakened mind to theirs. For a few minutes you will control them. After that, they will be lost forever. Ray stared at him. You want me to turn them into weapons? You either command them, or they kill you. There is no third path. Ray hesitated for a heartbeat, then slammed the disc against his chest. Instantly, his vision exploded with thousands of thoughts. He felt the hybrid's minds merge with his own, like an electric river flooding his brain. Ray raised his arm. Stand down. And they did. Thousands of hybrid warriors froze, lowering their weapons in perfect unison. Xylar's deep voice rumbled softly. You were born for this. The assault on the Harvester minutes later, the desert came alive with war. The hybrids, now under Ray's command, surged forward across the dunes, their alien weapons glowing bright blue against the dark horizon. Above them, drone swarms descended like angry hornets, filling the sky with fire. Ray charged at the front, his enhanced speed carrying him like a blur. He dove beneath a plasma bolt, rolled into cover, and fired a precise shot that took out a drone midair. Xylar fought beside him, unleashing blades of pure energy from his wrists, tearing through enemy constructs like paper. And then, the Harvester responded. A section of its underbelly opened. From the glowing cavity descended colossal war machines, each the size of skyscrapers, their mechanical limbs pounding the desert floor like thunder. Ray's voice cracked through the comms. Target the legs. Bring them down. Explosions lit up the desert as hybrids fired concentrated volleys at the towering machines. 2 fell. A third collapsed in a burst of fire and dust. But for every one they destroyed, more dropped from the Harvester. The revelation, the chaos. Ray felt something strange. A signal, deep beneath his thoughts, calling to him. Xylar noticed his hesitation. What is it? Ray swallowed hard, staring at the Harvester. It's talking to me. Xylar froze. That is not possible. But it was. A cold, alien voice slithered into Ray's mind, sharp as broken glass. You are ours, Ray Carter. You were built for us, not against us. You are the key. Return to us, and Earth will be spared. Ray's breath caught in his throat. Xylar, he whispered. They're saying I belong to them. Xylar's molten gaze locked onto him, fierce and unblinking. Lies. They forged your blood, yes, but you are not theirs. You are more than their design. You are human. The sacrifice. Before Ray could respond, Xylar grabbed his arm and pointed at the Harvester's glowing core. Listen carefully. If you destroy that core, you will sever its control network. The hybrids will be free. The others will lose their command structure. Ray tightened his grip on his rifle. Then let's do it. Xylar hesitated, his expression unreadable. There is a cost. Ray frowned. What cost? The energy release will consume anything within 2 kilometers. If we strike, we do not come back. Ray froze. For a moment, the chaos of battle faded into silence. Finally, he nodded. Then we finish this. The final charge. Ray rallied the hybrids for one last push. Focus fire on the core, he roared. Thousands of alien warriors unleashed a synchronized barrage, tearing through the Harvester's outer armor. Energy crackled violently as the massive construct began to falter. The others, sensing defeat, unleashed everything they had: drones, titans, and energy cannons that ripped the desert apart. Ray felt the heat of every blast, the pain of every soldier, the weight of every death. But he didn't stop. Finally, Xylar leaped high into the air, his entire body glowing like a star. Now, Ray. Ray took aim, channeling all his awakened energy into one single, perfect shot. The resonator core inside him screamed. The rifle roared. The Harvester's core exploded in a blinding wave of blue fire. Aftermath. When the light faded, the Harvester was gone, reduced to fragments raining from the sky. The other's fleet reeled in confusion, their command network shattered. One by one, the hybrid's eyes shifted back to blue. They were free. Ray collapsed to his knees, gasping for air. Xylar stood beside him, his glowing body flickering weakly. It's over, Ray whispered. Xylar shook his head slowly. No, this was only the first. Ray looked up at the sky, where thousands of enemy ships still lingered, silent and waiting. A chill ran down his spine. The final twist. Suddenly, a soft rumble filled Ray's mind. A different voice this time. Calm. Ancient, awakened guardian, Ray froze. What was that? Sylar's molten eyes widened for the first time. It cannot be. They are calling you. Who? Ray demanded. Sylar's voice was barely a whisper now. The ones who built the others. The ones who built us. The ones buried beneath your planet. Before Ray could speak, the desert floor beneath them quaked violently. Far away, deep under the earth, something massive began to stir. The war wasn't over. It had just begun.